When the collective logic begins to fray and the grand consensus turns its face away, in the cold geometry of a world snow, I become the friction in the undertow, the unwritten law that refuses to break. The arithmetic of heaven may cast you out in a storm of certainty and holy doubt, but I am the pillar beneath the debris, the singular truth in a fractured sea, a quiet rebellion for your sake. Though the universe revokes your very name, I am the oxygen that you're flickering flame, a steadfast sanctuary in the void's design, where your broken edges align with mine, the only gravity that will not forsake, a radical devotion, a silent decree. While the stars are blind, I choose to see. The verdict of the light is a brittle crown, trying to weigh your weary spirit down. But I am the marrow, the hidden strength, measuring the darkness to its final length. The death that the shadows can never obtain. Between the actual and the infinite loss, I am the bridge that you're meant to cross. Let the theorems of the many collapse in the dust. I am the iron, I am the rust, an unbreakable loop that will never unmake. Though the universe revokes your very name, I am the oxygen of your flickering flame, a steadfast sanctuary in the void's design, where your broken edges live mine, the only gravity that will not forsake. The integration of the denied and the held, a texture of loyalty that will not be quelled, a permanent suspension, a defining dimension. Non, ça de l'aide et jamais, et on m'a essayé les stairwell, the unamazing, until the evanescence unchecked. No word of the last, should have no trace. breath, the sudden relief, a persistent warmth in the frozen vein, deciphering the logic of the falling rain. The quietest pulse in this crowded pace, no coordination needed for this flight. We merge in the infrared of the night, beneath the debris of the day's long noise. I find the symmetry of your poise, an unbreakable loop of an ancient embrace. I feel the architecture of your gaze, navigating through my internal maze. A constant variable in a fracturing world, where every prayer is unfurled. You are the anchor in my fluid space, unobserved yet infinitely near, the fundamental frequency I hear through the fossilized layers of my grief. You are the breath, the sudden relief, an inevitable neighbor of my soul, remaining while the seasons roll, a seamless integration, sustaining the silent rotation. The gray upholstery of the passing hours lacks the sound of the artificial flowers. A recursive loop of the same poem where the weary pigeons forget how to fly. The world is a script that has lost its aim, but your frequency disrupts the stale machine. A sudden indigo where the dust had been when you occupy the vacuum of my sight. The heavy shadows lose their ancient mind. The frozen engine is starting to think. Hey, you are the catalyst in the latent air, dissolving the nothing that was always there. The architecture of the boredom starts to sway. In the neon pulse of a reconstructed day, a quiet rebellion in the blink of an eye. The paralysis of the habit is finally broken. 1,000 new dialects suddenly spoke. No longer a prisoner of the rhythmic street where the dull and the certain used to meet. Your presence is a leak in the airtight dome, transforming the cage into a breathing home. The alchemy of the soul no longer shot. Not a change in the stars, but a change in the lens, where the logic of the solitude finally ends. We are the friction that the silence requires, lighting the coal with invisible fires, an unexpected bloom in the desert of what? You are the catalyst in the latent air, dissolving the nothing that was always there. The architecture of the boredom starts to sway. In the neon pulse of a reconstructed day, a quiet rebellion in the blink of a You are the catalyst in the latent air, dissolving the nothing that was always there. The architecture of the boredom starts to sway. In the neon pulse of a reconstructed day, a quiet rebellion in spark and the stone, a texture of living I've never known, a vibrant suspension, a brand new dimension. I am the anchor in the receding vast, the only tether to a forgotten past, where the helium burns to a hollow eye. I cradle the ghost of a distant light. The vacuum is hungry, but I remain still. The curvature of time is a heavy thread, folding the living into the dead. Yet I occupy a coordinate beyond the reach of the entropy that the galaxies preach. A fossilized longing, the sovereign will. Constellations dissolve into dust, but I am the diamond, I am the rust, tracing the spectrum for a sign of your wake in a brittle heaven that's starting to break. The architecture of waiting is all I can feel. Between this singularity and the final breath, I am the shadow that outlasts death. Expansion, tear the atoms apart. I am the gravity at the center of the heart, a deliberate bloom on a frozen hill. I am the lighthouse at the edge of the night, awaiting the arrival of the only sun. My pulse is the clock that the stars ignored, a private never restored, igniting the silence with a patient thrill. Pulse is the clock that the stars ignored, a private liturgy never restored, igniting the silence with a patient the void and the home, a fragment of loyalty beneath the dome, a terminal endurance, a sacred insurance. stand between the exhaled ghost of yesterday and the unformed pulse of a distant hidden wave. I occupy the razor's edge, the invisible seam, discarding the heavy fabric of a tethered dream. The static of the then begins to finally dissolve. The world we is a vapor, a cold and hollow draft, while the what was is a sunken, decaying craft. Yet in this singular friction, this vertical flame, I find the only syllable that doesn't need a name, the axis upon which the entire world will revolve. I am the intersection of the zero and the light, and the vivid aperture in the center of the night. Neither a memory nor a prophecy to keep, but the shallow breath taken before the leap. The only truth the seasons can never resolve. A radical presence, a kingdom of the brief, finding the century underneath the falling leaf. The lineage of sorrow is a map I've burned away in the frantic clarity of this unrepeated day. No longer a passenger on a predetermined track, but the strike of the flint that won't take its fire back. The architecture of the instant is all I involve. Let the archives crumble and the oracles go blind. I leave the weight of the linear behind. A deliberate collision of the heart and the now. The only sacrament my spirit will allow, a quiet evolution that we cannot absolve. I am the intersection of the zero and the light, the vivid aperture in the center of the night. Neither a memory nor a prophecy to keep, but the shallow breath taken before the leap. The only truth the seasons can never integration of the gaze and the point, sanctified friction in every single job, a terminal presence, pure luminescence. Suspended in the amber heart, I trace the syntax of forgotten lost. The dust upon the path begins to speak of summits reached and valleys mild and bleak, an inventory of the shadows I've run. consolation of my former strides reflects the pulling of the inner tides. Not a burden but a library of scars, navigating by the light of extinct stars, deciphering the soar before the day is done. I paused away the anchor of the soul to see the fragments that have made me whole. A silent audit of the miles beneath my feet, where the bitter and the radiant finally meet, calibrating the direction of my lonely flight. The gravity of yesterday is thin, revealing the vastness growing from within. The sediment of choices starts to glow, a phosphorescence only the weary know, measuring the curvature of a long ascent, reclaiming every hour that was lent, the architecture of a self-appointed light. No momentum is lost in this brief delay. I am harvesting the seeds of a faded day. The cartography of the spirit is profound, marking the sanctity of the uneven ground, a deliberate collision with my own ghost. I paused away the anchor of the soul to see the fragments that have made me whole. A silent audit of the miles beneath my feet, where the bitter and the radiant finally meet, calibrating the direction of my lonely I paused away the anchor of the soul to see the fragments that have made me whole. A silent audit of the miles beneath my feet, where the bitter and the radiant finally meet, calibrating the direction of my lonely flight. The inventory of the heart is complete. The rhythm of the path is slow and sweet, an integration of the trace before I re-engage the boundless space. I nestle in the hollow of your curated breath, a velvet shroud to cheat the spiritual death. The transparency of your deceit is a fine spun silk, whiter than the truth, sweeter than the mother's milk. I weave your fabrications into my own skin. The architecture of your gaze is a brilliant fraud, a silent stage where the broken are out to be flawed. When the sunlight of the actual begins to sting, I seek the comfort that your hollow shadows bring. lover's heavy hand, sketching an empire on the shifting sand. The debris of the certain is a distant storm to the melodic poison, where I keep my spirit warm. No longer a pilgrim of the piercing fact, I find my divinity in the scripted act. A porcelain sanctuary that has never been a sin. We occupy a room where the exit is a dream, where nothing is as cruel as it seems. A deliberate drowning in a shallow golden well, the sweetest paralysis in a hollow shell. The sovereignty of the fake over the original did. Baptize my senses in the soul of your beautiful light, beneath the canvas of a counterfeit sky. I am a voluntary captive in the ghost you supplied, leaving the wreckage of the reality outside. The only anchor that can keep me feeling from within. The integration of the false and the deep, a secret that the daylight cannot keep, a fragile suspension, a luminous dimension. I am calculating the decay of a fervent spark, measuring the friction against the velvet dark. How many leagues can a silent confession sail before the syntax begins to flicker and fail? The medium of us is a dense, resistant haze. The signal of my marrow is a rhythmic loaded creep, scattering its heat across a vast unfeeling sea. Does the warmth evaporate before it touches your shore? A ghost of a frequency that won't vibrate anymore, lost in the static of these unrecorded days. I am searching for the limit of the internal reach, where the wave of light dissolves upon the beach. A fragile projection through a thick opaque glass, watching the echoes of my own devotion pass. The finite distance where the magnetism frays. A calculated yearning, tethered flight, testing the endurance of an invisible light. The geometry of longing is a diminishing curve, taxing the capacity of every minute. Am I shouting distance I'm destined to cross. A terminal trajectory, a muted periphery. Solar gale, a singular rhythm begins to prevail. Not a scripted line, but a fracture in the dark, where the friction of existence ignited a spark. Two solitary currents finding their common shore. The span of a century feels like a breath in the sanctuary, where we circumvent a statistical miracle, a defiance of the core. A narrative that the restless winds never told. I am no longer a fragment, but something much more. I am bathed in the math of your quiet grace. A divine coordinates in this formless space. The heavy machinery of the world falls away in the golden suspension of our private day. A celestial alignment I waited for. The gravity of loneliness has finally ceased. In this unearned and magnificent peace, through the jagged debris of the years gone by, your presence is the ink on a blank white sky, calibrating the pulse of my shivering heart. A seamless union where we used to be apart. The only truth worth keeping at the spirit store. No longer a leaf in the gale of the void. The terror of vastness is finally destroyed. We are the echo that the canyon creates, a defiance of logic, a mock of the fates, wrapped in the velvet of an ancient lore. I am bathed in the math of your quiet grace. A divine coordinates in this formless space. The heavy machinery of the world falls away in the golden suspension of our private day. A celestial alignment I've waited for. The integration of the now and the ever, a fragile string the world cannot sever, a radiant point in the vastness, held in a tender fastness. geography where no footprint is found. Thirsting for the nectar of the syllable you keep, while guarding the threshold of a canyon so deep. The air is a heavy shroud of what remains unsaid. The vibration of your essence is a riddle in the dark, a smoldering embers waiting for a reckless spark. Yet I am the warden of this peaceful, quiet cell, fearing the tolling of a definitive bell, choosing the hunger over the feast instead. I am the spectator of a tragedy never born, awaiting the rose while fearing the thorn. Your interior landscape is a map I dare not read, lest the clarity becomes a wound that will bleed. A fragile suspension in a silver thread. The paralysis of longing, a delicate stall, watching the shadow against the interior wall. The geometry of us is a masterpiece of glass, watching the ghosts of the potential to pass. I am the translator of a language with no tongue, clinging to the verses that have never been sung. Between the ask and the infinite no, I watch the current of the unspoken flow. A deliberate hesitation, a sanctified fear, keeping the distance to keep you so near. An exquisite poison on which I am fed. I am the spectator of a tragedy never born, awaiting the rose while fearing the thorn. Your interior landscape is a map I dare not read, lest the clarity becomes a wound that will bleed. A fragile suspension in a silver thread. The integration of the gaze and the veil, a texture of courage that's destined to fail, a terminal patience, a silent radiation. The jagged edges of my brittle intent begin to soften in the shared descent. A chemical surrender to the aura you wear, dissolving the armor I was forced to bear. The internal friction is starting to wane. Your gravity functions like a silent prayer, neutralizing the static in the heavy air. I found a mercy I never knew I possessed, as the frantic machinery is laid to rest. A healing erosion of the ancient pain. In the radiant shadow of your quiet soul, my that remains unnamed. No longer a weapon, no longer a wall. I find the grace to stumble and fall. Exhaling the iron, inhaling the rain. We occupy a space where the ego is thin, where the logic of the other is allowed to come in. A deliberate melting of the stone and the ice. The only virtue that doesn't need a price. A quiet revolution in a hidden vein. In the radiant shadow of your quiet soul, my fractured parts are becoming a whole. The syntax of my anger is rewritten in gold. A tender narrative I'm starting to uphold, reclaiming the gentleness within the strain. Fractured parts are becoming a whole. The syntax of my anger is rewritten in gold. A tender narrative I'm starting to uphold, reclaiming the gentleness within the strain. The integration of the now and the kind. A luminous peace I was destined to find, a velvet expansion, a sacred mansion. Friction in the seamless void, a singular atom that won't be destroyed. The atmosphere dictates a perfect erase, but I am the blemish on the surface of space, tracing my name with a jagged line. The gravity of silence is a heavy sea, drowning the eye before it can be. Claiming the oxygen, claiming the night. I am the frequency the world cannot mute, the unvarnished truth of a stubborn root. My existence is a riot in a velvet cell, breaking the rhythm of the funeral bell, igniting the void with the courage to fight. The script of the ages has left me a blank, but I am the anchor that refuses to sink, writing my pulse on the skin of the air, a divine disturbance, a permanent flare. The architecture of here is finally bright, between the forgotten and the infinite now. I wear the survival like a crown on my brow. Let the heavens collapse in their orderly roles. I am the fire that the winter still knows, a deliberate blooming in the absence of sight. I am the A texture of presence that the shadows can feel, a terminal vibration, a grand affirmation. The spine is a pillar of frostbitten glass, watching the seasonal wreckage to pass, a rigid adherence to the silence I've grown, building an altar of unyielding bone. I am the architect of a fortress too tall. The gravity here is a sovereign law, refusing the mercy of a seasonal thaw. When the internal pressure begins to ignite, I swallow the fever to fuel the night, waiting for a shadow that will never fall. I am navigating the desert of the dry, under the dome of an ironclad sky. The fluid of sorrow is trapped in the vein, converting the weeping into a structural strain, holding the weight of a world I forced a silent combustion in the center of the chest, finding no shoulder, finding no rest. The geometry of the strong is a jagged cage, written on a thick and unburnable page. The luxury of breaking is a foreign tongue in a hollowed out lung where the air is unsung, rehearsing the poise before the final call. The drought of the spirit is a deliberate choice to muffle the echo of a shattering voice between the bedrock and the absolute zero, playing the part of the nameless hero. A slow erosion of the internal wall. I am navigating the desert of the dry, under the dome of an ironclad sky. The fluid of sorrow is trapped in the vein, converting the weeping into a structural strain, holding the weight of a world I forced I am navigating the desert of the dry, under the dome of an ironclad sky. The fluid of sorrow is trapped in the vein, converting the weeping into a structural strain, holding the weight of a world I forced the integration of the grit and the steel, a texture of living I've ceased to feel, a petrified motion, a frozen ocean. The gray upholstery of the passing hours lacks the scent of the artificial flowers. A recursive loop of the same pale sky where the weary pigeons forget how to fly. The world is a script that has lost its ink, but your frequency disrupts the stale machine. A sudden indigo where the dust had been. When you occupy the vacuum on my side, the heavy shadows lose their ancient might. The frozen engine is starting to think. You are the catalyst in the latent air, dissolving the nothing that was always there. The architecture of the boredom starts to sway in the neon pulse of a reconstructed day. A quiet rebellion in the blink of an eye. The palaces of the habit is finally broken. 1,000 new dialects suddenly spoken. No longer a prisoner of the mixed street where the dull and the certain used to meet. Your presence is a leak in the airtight dome, transforming the cage into a breathing home. The alchemy of the soul no longer shine. Not a change in the stars, but a change in the lens, where the logic of the solitude finally ends. We are the friction that the silence requires, lighting the cold with invisible fires. An unexpected bloom in a desert of why. You are the catalyst in the latent air, dissolving the nothing that was always there. The architecture of the boredom starts to sway in the neon pulse of a reconstructed day. A quiet rebellion in the blink of an eye. Dissolving the nothing that was always there. The architecture of the boredom starts to sway in the neon pulse of a reconstructed day. A quiet rebellion in the blink of an eye. Of the spark and the stone, a texture of a living I've never known. A vibrant suspension, a brand new dimension.